So today we're talking about association versus causation. We're comparing association of things that happen to whether one is caused by the other. With correlation coefficients, we can see that there is an association. It may be a weak association or it may be a strong association, depending on what that correlation coefficient um, value actually is. Uh, if you look back at our 4-8 notes where we talk about um, the correlation coefficient, sorry, 4-7 where we talk about linear regression and correlation coefficient, we talked about how anything, a correlation coefficient between negative 0.5 and negative 1 or positive 0.5 and positive 1 is a strong association. It's a strong correlation. Anything between the 0.5s from negative 0.5 to positive 0.5 is a weak association, a weak correlation. And the closer you get to 0, the weaker it gets. Now, correlation coefficients just show that there's an association. The stronger the association, the larger or the closer that correlation coefficient is to 1, and the stronger the association is. If changes to one of the variables directly causes changes to the other variable, then we say there's a causation. Okay? So association means just that two things happen at the same time. A causation is that one of those things directly causes the other thing to happen. And neither is not really an option. I mean, it's there on your on testing. You might see where it gives you an option for neither. But to be honest, there's always some kind of association. It may be very minimal and it may be extremely small and extremely weak, but there's always some kind of association. Okay, so we're looking at just a couple of examples here. Situation is an hourly employee who works more hours and therefore makes more money. Well, that is an association. We're always going to see an association between how many hours you work and how much you get paid. So we're going to say that yes, that is an association. And for those of you that work hourly jobs, you know that in order for you to get paid more, you have to work more. So the number of hours you work directly causes the amount of money you make. So that's also going to be a yes. Okay. Then we look at, as the number of people eating ice cream in Florida increases, there are more shark attacks. Well, statistically, yes, that's true. There is an association there that the number of people eating ice cream in Florida does happen to increase about the same time that there are more shark attacks. Does one cause the other to happen? Absolutely not. Just because you're eating more ice cream in Florida does not mean that there's going to be more shark attacks. However, there is something that causes both things to happen at the same time. If you think about the weather in Florida, as the weather heats up, as the temperature gets higher, more people are going to be eating ice cream. Temperature tends to get higher in the summer. When that happens, you have more people traveling to Florida because that's a big tourist destination. And it just so happens that at that same time as the temperatures are getting higher, it makes the waters warmer. The warmer waters attract the sharks. More people in the water at the time happens to be more shark attacks. But the fact that more people are eating ice cream in Florida does not cause more shark attacks. Okay. All right. Let's talk about protein. The more protein in a pole vaulter's diet, the higher the pole vaulter jumps. I okay. There's some kind of an association there. My athletes are going to see, I'm sure you've got some kind of association going with a specific diet. It makes you perform better. So yes, there's some kind of an association there. However, having more protein in your diet does not cause you to jump higher as a pole vaulter. It does not cause you to run faster as a runner. So that's going to be a no. It's not a causation, but it is an association. Okay. How about the more time a random group of students spent studying and the higher grade they received on a math test? Well, if you go back to yesterday's notes with our correlation coefficient, we actually saw that one. We did the calculator version of that. And I will actually show you right now where we did that on our previous notes. Oops. If you notice our first example here, we put that into our stat edit and we found that it has a strong positive correlation. So yes, the two things are associated rather strongly, okay? However, does one cause the other? Does studying for your test cause you to have a higher grade? As the algebra teacher, I'm going to argue that, yeah, it does. If you study, if you are doing your assignments, looking at it at least, a few minutes per night, 15 to 20 minutes per night, it's going to cause you to have a higher grade on your test. So I'm sure somebody can come up with an argument against that, but I'm willing to bet that studying does cause you to have a higher grade when done properly. How about the number of bus stops increases? So the number of car sales decreases. Well, again, we have an association. One thing happened, the other happened at the same time. Okay, it's an association. However, does increasing the number of bus stops decrease the number of car sales? Probably not. Car sales tend to be ruled more by economics, people being able to afford a car or not, versus having more bus stops. Now you see that neither column stayed empty, okay? That's because it's always going to be an association. You're always going to have an association of some kind. As weak as it may be, there's still going to be an association. Okay? So just, that's one of those things. We're going to leave neither as not an option. Okay? But you do want to be able to see that. You may see it somewhere else as an option, and just realize it's always going to be an association, at least. Okay. Causation's always also going to be an association. You think back to our relations versus functions. A function is always a type of relation, but not all relations are functions. The same thing is happening here. A causation will always be an association. It's a type of association, but not all of your associations are going to be causations. You do not always have one thing causing the other in an association. All right. If you could think of an association, okay? Think of something that you know two things that happen at the same time. And to think about, does one of these actually cause the other thing to happen? Okay. So I'm going to give you an example here. We'll write this in. I'm going to try to type it in because I'm sitting at my desk at the moment. And let's try the higher the gas prices, the fewer miles people will travel for vacation. Okay, so the higher the gas price, the fewer miles people will travel for vacation. Is that an association, or is that, or is it not an association? Try to see if I can move this up. Okay. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so it's easier to see through my lines here. Let's see if we can make it a little bit bigger. And there we go. Is that an association? Yes, it is an association. We have seen that as gas prices go up, people tend to travel fewer miles. Does the increased gas prices cause people to travel fewer miles for vacation? Quite possibly. So I'd be willing to say that this is a causation. Oh, wrong one. Okay. Only because people want to save money, and or they want to be able to have more money to buy souvenirs and snacks and foods at wherever their destination is. So they're probably going to travel closer to home so that they have money left to be able to do more activities at their destination. Okay. See if you can think of one that maybe would also be a causation, or maybe it's just an association. All right. For those of you joining me that are not part of my Algebra 1 class, see if you can decide if these examples are association or causation, or neither. See if you can create your own version of an association or a causation situation. For those of you in my class and are watching this video because I can't be in class today, your assignment is on page 23. So go ahead and take a look at page 23 and answer these questions, and I will see you later. Bye.